Hey, how's it going, everybody on YouTube? This is Mr. NoPony here, and I'm going to be reacting to another Shoeonhead video. This one just dropped an hour ago. So, I haven't seen it, I have no idea what it is. Well, actually, I do have an idea. It's something about this is the average male fantasy. So, they basically got me having a house, a car, and probably a few kids. Well, the last part is probably just, completely it's a complete fantasy is actually having a wife and kids because I'm not getting those. I know it. Ah, anyway, let's continue on. Let's see what Miss Shoe has to say. Let me move myself out of the way. All right.
Men. What do they want? Money? Status? Fast, expensive cars? What
No
is
to the
ultimate
last two.
male fantasy? Is it fame? Fortune? 3 hot chicks at once? Haha, hell yeah, brother. No,
No,
according to men
no,
on the
no, I
internet,
don't.
it's something a little more simple.
Oh, yeah, something like that. Isn't this from the anime Your
This is
Boy?
literally just a fetish. I fucking hate men so much. Men are why we can't have nice things.
We're starting off strong. I don't I don't understand it, but we're starting off strong apparently. So yeah, there's that. Men, we don't know what we've done. So, as a man, I do believe I am one. Last I checked. Yep, I believe so. I think the best way to describe men are that we're the ultimate background characters. We do the things that nobody else sees. We do all the hard work, all the hard stuff that nobody appreciates us for. We are the background characters of society. You don't notice what we do until we stop doing it. And that is my true belief, is that men are the background characters. Along with every other person that has that similar background characteristics. You know? Anyway, let's see what else Miss Shoeonhead has to say.
As I was working on an upcoming video, I made the terrible mistake of logging onto Twitter, where I saw
Well,
this
that is a big
post.
mistake.
A montage from the anime Josie, the Tiger, and the Fish, a movie about a
Oh.
college student who's assigned to take care of a paraplegic girl, and spoiler, eventually they fall in love. Many
Oh.
men were yearn posting in the replies of this tweet and talking about how they wish to fall in love and would love a relationship like this, while many others, mostly women, were absolutely fucking disgusted at this. Why would a bunch of men be
Why?
fantasizing about being with a woman in a wheelchair? Seems pretty creepy and predatory, right? Also,
Not
just
the woman in the wheelchair
unrealistic
part,
and
you.
problematic. Well, in
Really? They focus on the part of the wheelchair, not the actual romance itself. How brain dead do you have to be not to realize that they were talking about the romance, not the I just having a good relationship. They wanted the relationship, not the damn girl in the room. What? All right, it is true. There are people out there who don't think logically, who can't figure this out. It is a sad truth, and I just have to accept that. I don't know if I can. That there are people out there like this, but mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Yes. Right. Um. Okay. Well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
this video, we are going to be talking about why so many men resonated to that clip and this movie, and why so many people are so confused as to why. We are also going to be reading some absolutely unhinged tweets, as usual, to get to the bottom of why such a wholesome post turned into, once again, another battlefront for the ongoing, never-ending gender war. Men versus women, women versus men, the male loneliness epidemic, the female loneliness epidemic, the dealing with dating apps. Do men prefer thin women or curvy women?
I will never go back to a dating app.
Do women like dad bods or fit men? Do they like beards or clean-shaven? Oh yeah, that reminds me. Let's quickly get into today's sponsor, Henson Shaving.
Oh wow, an actual ad popped up at the same time as the sponsorship. How fun.
You ever just accept that some products are just garbage? Like, for years I thought ripping your tights on the first wear was just a part of being a human woman. We just accepted that. That's just how it is, sweetie. But that shouldn't be how it is. It's a bad design. And that's why I like Henson Shaving. Because if you've ever used a multi-blade razor, you're probably sick of the irritation, the razor burn, the overpriced blades, and you probably think, that's just the way it is. But it doesn't have to be how it is. Thanks to Henson Shaving.
I've never actually had to deal with
Shaving
that.
is on a mission to improve shaving.
With
no gimmicky subscriptions or moisturizing strips, but with real innovation and a focus on your skin's health. What really sets Henson apart is their engineering. With their Henson AL13 safety razor being manufactured in an aerospace machine shop that built parts for the International Space Station. This precision allows the blade to extend just 1/1000th of an inch beyond the shave plane, less than the thickness of a human hair. The razor prevents any bouncing or skipping, resulting in an irritation-free shave every time. And here's the best part. Once you invest in a Henson razor, it's a lifetime purchase. The only thing you'll need to replace are the blades, which literally cost only 10 cents each. So once you own the razor, you'll be spending like $3 to $5 on blades, compared to the ongoing cost of buying expensive plastic cartridges. Henson's store offers a variety of colors and even a titanium version, so you can pick the razor that best fits your style. So if you're tired of razor burn and overpaying for blades, now is the perfect time to make the switch. Just head over to hensonshaving.com/shoe and add both a Henson razor and the 100 blades to your car, and then enter code SHOE at checkout to get the 100 blades for free with your purchase. Your skin, your wallet, and your environment will thank you. Big thanks to Henson Razor for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. You didn't skip the ad, right?
No,
now,
I didn't,
let's get
but I
back to
talked
the video.
Does that help?
Now, I am not an anime connoisseur. In fact, I basically know nothing about anime. I am probably the most tourist of all the tourists.
Gay?
Yeah, hi. I have a question. Was the upskirt shot necessary in order to advance the plot?
No, but it is necessary to keep the attention.
When I was a kid, and a few years ago, I watched Beastars on Netflix. Legoshi, best boy. Not a furry, by the way. And honestly, that's about it for my anime consumption.
Don't know about season 3,
if you're counting VTubers,
I
watch a lot of anime.
Comes out
but because of this clip going viral, I watched Josie the Tiger and the Fish, and, well, I thought it was a good movie. I recommend watching it. I thought it was a really cute, good story. I only cried a little bit. And I completely understood what the tweet meant by calling it the average male fantasy. So, what was wrong with it? Why did this clip go so viral in such a negative way? Why were thousands of people angry at this post? Well, let us dilly-dally no longer and read some of these angry replies to get a better understanding of what the issue is, shall we? Wholesome male fantasy, and it's fetishizing a disabled girl for him to control. Oh no. They think,
no, God.
Why?
Yes, I know.
Always vulnerable, always happy, always needs you. Pretty perverted. Where are these fan fictions coming from? There were like hundreds of tweets just like this. Why did they see a cute montage of a happy couple, a man and a woman happy, together? I know, unheard of. Why did they see that and then immediately come to these conclusions? Like, as someone who actually watched the movie, Josie is not always happy. And she's absolutely not portrayed as some, like, vulnerable, ooh-woo, sex doll waifu. She's boisterous, she kind of has a foul mouth, she's very sassy and headstrong. She, like, straight up calls him her servant, but she was also very depressed. She basically never left her house. She was basically a girl failure. As a former girl failure, I love to see representation in media. But they actually show her disability, like, not in a good way. Like, they don't romanticize it, they don't sugarcoat it. And I noticed, unlike a lot of movies, unlike a lot of romance movies, at least like the Hallmark kind, where it's like the stuffy male lead learning to live life from the quirky, cute female lead, he's already got his shit together.
No.
And she learns to live life from him. He encourages her to live her dreams. And in return, he learns to live life in a completely different way. And I thought that was really cool and sweet. Also, the animation was really good. Is anime good? Have I been sleeping on anime this entire time? His fantasy is that she becomes permanently disabled and helplessly...
To answer your question, Shu, it all depends on the anime studio. Because there are some anime studios that do really good, and there are the ones that just shell out crap and just do the bare minimum. Yeah. We're not talking about the H anime. But no, those animes that they just want to shell out fast and cut down the story or break parts out of it all. Yeah. And then there's Demon Lord R Retry. Such a downgrade on animation style. I know it's a different studio. I know it's a different place that made it. But honestly, I don't consider it as a true season 2. They did so much different from the original anime. And it could be closer to the manga. I'm pretty sure it does. I do know there was a Retry R, which... Demon Lord R Retry, which was something else. But yeah. Anywho.
Dependent on him, but can still make him a sandwich. Sounds about right. Oh my god. After watching the movie, these tweets are even more insane. But even putting the movie aside, just seeing that like cute montage out of context, where the fuck are they getting this? These are very clearly just two happy people. But because the caption was the average male fantasy, their mind immediately goes to the darkest, worst faith interpretation of this. The problem is these people can't see any humanity in men. They can't see any humanity in humanity in general. Average male fantasy equals girlfriend with no agency who's completely physically dependent on you and forced into blanket subservience and compliance. Sounds about right. You males are weird for fetishizing physically disabled women. Average male fantasy is having a physically disabled girl they can abuse however they want. Got it. Not to be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy. The infantilization of the physically disabled here is a little, dare I say...
With Lucid, Agile teams don't have to start from square one. Need to run Agile events with a hybrid team?
Ableist? The implication here that people in wheelchairs cannot find love, and if they do, the person who loves them literally just loves them because they can't run away. Weird. Average men can't even be nice to their healthy and normal girlfriend. What makes you think they'll be able to handle a disabled person as their lover? Whoa. Normal? What do you mean by normal? These people are just so ableist, chat. Can you believe it? Chat? I don't even live stream. Who's chat? I'm disabled, blind, so I showed this to my boyfriend.
I'm not even
He says, I love you because you're you, and you make my days happier. So what if I have to drive you places or help you with cooking and cleaning? I would have done that anyway. Disability has nothing to do with it. I love you. Ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but, your boyfriend is a rapist. Sorry you had to find out. I don't know how to that anyway. Disability...
Hold on. Oh. I would've... am I reading this correct? Somebody in the comments, make sure I'm not hallucinating. It says, I'm disabled, in quotation marks, blind. I showed this to my boyfriend. How did you show it to your boyfriend? You're blind! You cannot see it! How is it? Why is this? How? What? What? Huh? You're blind? Are you legally blind or are you actually blind? Because if you're legally blind, I can understand that. That means you have practically thick-ass glasses just to see something normal. Bottle. I have a cousin he's legally blind, and he has these really thick glasses. Yeah, so these bottom glasses, yeah. Anyway, but nonetheless, the blind part here, that's concern. That makes me think you're think that, but it, like I said, blind is being generalized in this. Legally blind, I can understand. Just okay, you're legally blind. You're disabled because you're legally blind, which means you have a hard time seeing things without try. Whenever you try, or don't try. So yeah, you can see things, but it takes a lot, and your eyesight is failing. Just gonna get worse over time. I understand that.
Nothing to do with it. I love you. Ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but, your boyfriend is a rapist. Sorry you had to find out this way. You show this as fantasy because it's not true for the majority of men who participate in abuse of disabled people. No, the fantasy is the woman appreciates his efforts to make her happy. Stop lying and abusing women and the disabled. Your meds, schizo.
Please.
You don't even know that f***ing guy. What do you mean stop abusing women and the disabled? Bitch, who are you?
Can we
also,
bring back the asylum? Can we just bring back the asylum for
people.
these crazy people?
Are you okay? The majority of men are not
who
abusers. That is
crazy.
a very, very small
minority
of men. The majority of men are men that just wake up, take a shit, get out of bed, take a shower, go to work, come home, and wait for GTA 6 to come out. That is the majority of men. Men commit 95% of all rape, but okay. Barging into the romance section of Barnes & Noble like, attention everyone! Rape! Where is that coming from? So close, this is fetish content. Ah yes, the dirtiest, most taboo of all fetishes. A happy relationship.
Isn't
Honestly,
there a creature section of Book the Million
you want a wife and
for...
kids? You sick fuck. But this is literally
like,
just a perverted fantasy, LMAO. You think it's a perverted fantasy because...
Romantic fantasies?
How do I put this nicely? You are a pervert. Literally seeing a cute montage of a male and female character having fun together, being in love together, being like, rape! He's a rapist! This is a fetish! Are these people okay? Stop watching porn! Wait, this is a woman. Okay, stop reading Taken by the Werewolf Billionaire. Or whatever the fuck you read.
No, what, how, why?
I swear to God, some of the shit women read would make the most depraved internet gooner blush.
Probably.
Or so I've been told.
Ah, so you've been told, huh? You know what?
This is literally just a fetish. Okay, listen, I'm not gonna pretend there's nobody out there who's like, she can't run away, she has no legs. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend there's nobody out there who has a crippled, disabled fetish, okay? I've been on the internet for 20 years. I've been on DeviantArt. I've seen shit you wouldn't believe. But the majority of people, probably most, if not all the people responding to this, do not have a cripple fetish, okay? In fact, her being in a wheelchair basically has nothing to do with it. Much like how females coom over, like, vampires.
You know what? If these women ever get disabled and they have a man and he decides to leave her saying, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to be mistaken for having a disability fetish. So, perhaps we'll have to end this in your time of need instead of just, being with her, getting her back to health, showing how much he cares for her. No, that would be too much now, wouldn't it? I wonder if my sarcasm's coming through just fine.
Or, like I said before, the billionaire werewolf fantasy. This is just the average male fantasy distilled down to its most extreme. So what is the average male fantasy? The average male fantasy is the fantasy of both men and women alike. It is simply to love and to be loved. But more specifically, the male fantasy is to be a protector and a provider for those that they love. Put a pin in this because we are going to come back to this in a big way, trust me. The average male fantasy is being a globally known terrorist. The average male fantasy is that a woman who isn't fat. The average male fantasy is actually job security. You know what?
Yeah,
these guys may have a point here. Pedophile alert. Men want disabled child wives. Average male fantasy is a disabled child. More proof that men are pedos. That's a little girl. This is weird. So first of all, she's literally older than the guy. The guy is 22 and she is 24. In anime years, he is practically hag maxing. And yes, she may be physically disabled. But aren't all men mentally disabled?
Well, at least in Japan years.
Special way? At least the ones in my audience. They will freely admit this. Maybe she, the older woman, is taking advantage of this sensitive young man. Have you ever thought of that? She looks like an 11-year-old child. Where are her breasts? First of all, really weird way to say that. She looks like a child. Show me her titties. Also, I love how, like, when anime women have huge boobs.
Did that person just insult the itty bitty titty committee? Because I'm insulted for them. Alright, I really shouldn't be, but you know. I'm sorry, but I don't care what her breast size are. She could be flat chested, all I care, and I would be completely happy with that, as long as she was happy with me. That's the bigger ask. Are you happy with me? Because that is... I'm not sure if it's something that anybody could really get behind. Or not, I don't know.
It's disgusting, Coomer brain or whatever. But if the anime woman has small boobs, she is a child and you're a chimo. Can't fucking win. Also, if she had big boobs, they'd absolutely be like, wow, look at this sexualization of the disabled. Also, you know, like, adult women can be flat-chested, right? Like, that actually exists in real life. Like, adult human women can have small boobs. We love all titties here on the Shoeonhead channel. All titties is good titties. End of story. Women fantasy.
I agree.
A boyfriend with depth and a loving, soft, deeply caring side of them. Men's fantasy. 12-year-old anime girl who looks and speaks like a toddler. Also notice how she's literally the shape and size of a child. Yuck. Have you people ever seen a child? No. You're all childless.
Yeah, right.
Silly me.
True.
She's not even that short. She's just sitting. See, like when they're laying side by side, she's like a full-grown adult woman. Why do these people look at this and immediately think of child rape? Go to therapy. And listen, I know with anime it can get a little weird, right? Like,
also,
excuse me, Poo Poo Pee Pee Chan is 2,000 years old, and this is Poo Poo Pee Pee Chan. But this does not even look like a child. This looks like a cute woman. This is like a random rant, but I feel like there are no more cute women nowadays. You know what I mean? You have all like, the Insta baddies, the e-thoughts, the e-girls, the muscle mommies, the boss babes, the boy babes. But I feel like every woman is just hot now. Which, by the way, I don't think is healthy for the male psyche whatsoever. You shouldn't wake up and be able to scroll through pictures of, like, the hottest woman you've ever seen in your life, like, 20 times before you've had, like, your morning cup of coffee. You shouldn't log in and immediately be one-shotted by 10-10s all day. As if that wouldn't make you go insane. As if that wouldn't make you crash out. Like, back in the day, you'd probably...
To be quite honest, I don't know exactly what my type is. All I know is... my type should be the type of person that sticks with me, and I stick with them. Type of person that we say, oh, dear God, I'm working up against you, looking at you again? Nah, I could do worse. At least whenever they look at me.
Probably see, like, one fine dame on your bus ride to work, and you'd think about her for 40 years until the day you die. That's how it used to be. That's how it should be. Now every woman is like a crazy, hot, unobtainable Instagram goddess with the fattest of ass. Zoomers don't know how good we had it. You'd go to Blockbuster, and the 21-year-old cashier behind the counter would be the most adorable woman you've ever seen. No Botox, no lip filler, just pure soul, full of joy and whimsy. And now women are full of hate and SSRIs. But they're hot. They're hotter than they've ever been. They're hotter and more depressed than they've ever been in history. Sad. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, anime. I didn't take my Vyvanse today, could you tell? Men's fantasy. A big titty woman with the face of a 16-year-old that is useful for cooking, cleaning, and sex. Women's fantasy. Gets treated like a queen and a man who keeps tracks of our periods so he can take care of us. I think I speak for a lot of women here when I say our fantasies do not, in fact, include men tracking our periods.
That's
Personally,
actually a little
my
bit on the
husband was
creepy
like,
pile.
honey, just a reminder you're in your luteal phase. I'm taking the kids. Men like to pretend they want this, and then they beat their wife when dinner isn't ready or their son when he's misbehaving. First of all, I'm sorry that happened to you. But there are in fact good men out there. I've seen them. Some may be in this very audience.
Probably.
Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face. This is the Shoeonhead audience. You're all gremlins. Male fantasy equals a woman that can't run away from him. A woman that's dependent on him. Interesting. When men are involved, it's basic survival instinct to assume the worst. Men are guilty until they prove themselves innocent. You know what? I take my opinions back on free speech. I changed my mind. No more free speech. No more free speech until you bitches learn to behave. A woman's fantasy is a man who won't rape her, and a man's fantasy is raping a woman.
A good question is, how do I get started trading? A better question is, how do I profit today?
A better question
well,
is,
I can tell you,
how
it's
do I make
not...
you shut the fuck up?
I'm sorry, where is the rape, ma'am? Maybe that's how you see it, because you're brainwashed to hate men. So true. I hate how... But in reality, women are the real demons here. Oh, god damn it. We just want a happy relationship.
You had a good point at
first. Is it so much to ask for? Yes. Yes, it is. Oh look, more misogynistic gooner fantasy slop written by misogynistic gooner men. This is why 70% of anime is garbage. So here's the thing, that misogynistic gooner fantasy slop written by misogynistic gooner men was actually written by Saiko Tanabe, a woman. A woman.
Yeah, most
anime,
story. A lot of good anime are done by women.
Everyone is sleeping on
well.
when they covered this was the fact that this is very much the female fantasy as well. A man loving you for who you are despite your flaws, literally sweeping you off your feet and carrying you around on adventures, helping you live out your dreams, face your fears, and supporting you through the good and bad times. You're going to sit here and tell me that's not the female fantasy too? Is this not the basic female fantasy? Is this not the knight in shining armor coming to rescue you and falling in love with you? Why on earth are so many women so mad at this? Are men now the hopeless romantics? Are men now the ones yearning for a fairy tale romance? Is this why all the Disney remakes are like, she's not gonna be saved by the prince, she's a strong, independent woman? Meanwhile, men still want to be the prince, men still want to be the knight in shining armor. Men are like, I will save you from your monotonous 9-to-5 job. I will give you a house and babies. And women are like, no, I must be an actuarial consultant. Be gone, vile misogynist. Is that what is occurring here? Also, that aside,
like that,
there literally is a gender-swapped version of this story called Perfect World. It is a manga. Manga? Mango?
Manga.
I don't know.
Either
Do
or.
not come for me, weebs. Men will statistically leave their wives and partners the moment they find out they're disabled or have a life-threatening condition. You're right, it is a fantasy. Actually, that study was debunked by the authors themselves, who admitted they did the math wrong. It's actually not much higher, but then again, even if it was, and it happens, I've seen it happen to people, it's terrible. Marriage should be through sickness and through health. But that's not really the point here. And the fact that so many people are focusing on the wheelchair part of this just proves that they just don't get it. The ones of pure mind and pure soul get it. But these fucking semen demons out here, they don't get it. But not all semen demons. The amount of people in comments who just don't get that men want a cute, loving girlfriend is beyond me. They call them creeps for wanting actual love and not a girl boss who only wants your money. Ah, thank you, a sane person. Hopefully the replies aren't full of people calling her a pick-me. Pick-me alert, least obvious pick-me. Me, pick me please. Hope he picks you, sis. Pick me, pick me, pick me. An incel could have written this. Fuck. Why are so many VTubers either pick-me's or racist? You mean why do so many female VTubers disagree with you? Why so many aren't towing the mainstream liberal feminist NPC line? Because they can. See, the most powerful weapon women have against other women is social ostracization. You don't want to be seen as a pick-me or a racist, so you keep your mouth shut in order to survive in female social circles. But in the cases of VTubers, virtual YouTubers, they're basically anonymous. They can say anything they want. They're basically wearing a mask. They're free from the chains of the eternal HR longhouse. But apparently, even being anonymous online does not save them because they still get doxxed for simply not hating
a lot harder for you to actually
Maybe I should save this rant for a different video someday. Moving on. Men are why we can't have nice things, by the way. First of all,
that's why we got the audio
all
show.
The things.
Much greater.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Also, I just realized it was a man saying that. It was a whole ass man saying men are why we can't have nice things. I don't deserve this. This is for you, sir. This is for you. I'm not worthy. Listen, I make women jokes. I'm very critical of feminism and propaganda aimed at women. But you will never catch me in a million years saying some like women are why we can't have nice things. I have a mom. I have female family members. I have female friends. Maybe one day I'll have a daughter. Women make the world a beautiful place, and like daughter, men, can be flawed and deserve criticism, like anyone else. But there's something genuinely so cucked about people who put down their own gender or race. Oh god, race. Self-hating white people. Don't get me started on self-hating white people. White people are so evil. I hate being white. White people can't dance. White people food is so gross. You're not getting into Wakanda, bro. You're not getting invited to the cookout. Enough. But yeah, women were not the only ones who had a problem with this. There were a lot of men who didn't quite relate to this being the average male fantasy.
It's fine to love the disabled. I didn't need to remind you that. But you glorify it? This anime is certainly Marxist propaganda. The movie is about him taking a job as her caretaker, and when he learns of her dreams, he makes it his mission to help her dreams come true. So it is Marxist propaganda to help a disabled person pursue their dreams? Yeah, it's woven in. Empathy is the target of propaganda.
Marxism is when girl in wheelchair. I love this. Empathy is the target of propaganda.
Oh, my head! Ow! Why are there people out there that make it stupidity sound so painful? Oh, the fudge! What in the blue blazes of Tartars are you talking about? Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, we are. I'm screwed. This is the average intelligence of people. I don't want to. I'm considered high, above average then. Oh dear. Oh dear, this is horrible, man.
Propaganda. Every piece of media that makes you feel empathy is communism. Political brain rot. If you're at the point where you see this and you're thinking of communism, you need to log off. You are unwell.
Before Merit America, Amy was struggling financially as a single parent. She worked as a truck operator, and like 53 million other Americans, felt stuck.
I don't need commercials.
I'm sorry, but when I reproduce, I don't want a high probability of my offspring being mentally or physically retarded. We need a better class of incels whose bar is higher than the retarded.
She's not retarded, she has a spinal injury that's not genetic. Also, what is this LARP? I love how everyone is just kind of having like a normal conversation about...
That person assumes they can reproduce. They assume that they will be able to reproduce. I don't see them reproducing anytime in the future. Or near future. Maybe when they're at their very last egg, they get a slight hope. And then nothing. I don't see it.
This clip, and this guy just comes out of nowhere like, I would never put my pure white seed in such a vile creature. Like, you absolutely...
Oh, that was the dude? I don't see him reproducing either. I see him actually losing his testicles before that happens.
No, this guy has a non-white girlfriend. They all do. All these, like, I hate white people women always have white boyfriends. All these, I hate non-white people boys always have non-white girlfriends. I don't know what it is, but I've seen it too many times. I guarantee you when this man logs off of his Black Sun Roman statue Twitter account, he's clapping Latina booty cheeks.
My fantasy is not being a simp, but okay.
Fellas, is it simping to love a woman?
Nah, this is not the male fantasy. That man is a beta male. If she wasn't in a wheelchair, she would leave him for Chad. Fellas, is it beta to love a woman? This is not my fantasy. This is some gay shit, to be honest. Fellas, is it gay to love a woman? What no pussy does to a motherfucker. Brother, I've seen what pussy does to a motherfucker. And it's far worse. The average male fantasy is taking care of their crippled wife. I don't think I've ever had that fantasy before. I thought it was gonna be about going on some quest to kill the dragon to win the princess or something. It is. That is the average male fantasy. But there are no dragons to slay. There are no princesses to save. But there is that little old lady in the grocery store who can't quite reach that top shelf. There's that heavy box the pretty girl you work with can't quite lift herself. There's that jar of tomato sauce your wife can't quite open. There's that Lego set your little son can't quite put together himself. Or there is this paraplegic girl who wants to see the ocean. This is the princess and the dragon story. And despite what many are told, men do have a lot of love to give. And they want some kind of excuse or mechanism to show that love. In a world where men expressing themselves is either seen as toxic or gay. And one way of expressing that love is solving problems. Men fucking love solving problems. I don't know what it is. They also love reading Wikipedia articles. The amount of times I walked over and my husband is reading a random fucking Wikipedia article about like the world's tallest buildings or like a random battle in World War II. I didn't know if this was autism or what, but apparently it's a man thing. Anyway, yes, men love solving problems. And in a world that makes them feel useless, makes them feel like they have no purpose, men desperately feel like they need to prove their worth. They are desperately looking for a purpose in life. So it is not at all shocking to me that the modern young man is seeing a clip like this and longing for this. A lot of modern men don't have a chance to prove themselves, to make something of their lives. They don't have a chance to.
That's true. I mean, a lot of modern men are basically being held back by current society. And I'm lucky enough to have the beat up, run down little back of a trailer I have right now. I want to do better in my life. I have a used vehicle that gets me from point A to point B. I have a job. And I have this little hobby.
To provide anything for anyone because they don't have anything to provide and they don't have anyone. They are doing everything their grandfathers did, but seeing none of the results. They're lost. What can they provide? And as I said earlier, her being in a wheelchair is the protector and provider instinct taken to a extreme. And yes, it is a fantasy considering if you ask anyone who's actually in a wheelchair, they know it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and they know that it's hard on relationships. It can be difficult on their partner. But just like in the movie, it's not shown as butterflies and rainbows. Josie feels like a burden. But towards the end of the movie, the guy takes on that burden. Not because he gets something in return, but because it's his duty. Because it makes her happy, which makes him happy in return. Loyalty, duty, virtue, acts of service, big or small. Men live for that shit. And yes, these are stereotypes. Not everyone fits into these boxes, blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, it's true. When many men look at this relationship, that is what they see. And a lot of modern women are looking at this relationship and being disgusted because, in a way, it's the complete inverse of the strong, independent woman they've been sold. They've been told they need to be. The modern woman crafted by modern Disney for modern audiences. Unlike the...
We don't talk about modern Disney's ideals. They were so close with Lilo and Stitch. So close. So close. But then, it was better than, She Who Should Not Be Named as the Princess of White. The one who should not be named. Wonders the seas of hell she has spawned. The one names no one.
Hollywood crafted modern woman. This woman does need her man. She is not strong and she's not independent, at least physically. This doesn't mean she's like an empty vessel with no thoughts or freedom. No, in fact, in the movie, Josie does roll away from him a few times. It is a fantasy not because of a power imbalance, but because the man has a tangible purpose, and the woman is willingly and lovingly letting him fulfill that purpose.
Because I can depend on you. I know that if I ever feel frightened, I can just reach out to you.
Men simply want something good to die for, to make it beautiful to live. This manifests in a lot of ways, but the most common is having a loving partner and/or a family. Something unobtainable to many people nowadays. So yes, literally one of the most normal things ever is becoming a fantasy. Sad. Also, men will deny this, but they absolutely have a biological clock. It may not hit in your teens or your 20s, but one day you're going to have a dream. You have a little daughter making you pancakes with your wife in the morning, and you're not going to be able to get it out of your head. And that is the male biological clock. Everything you do, the money you make working that grating 9-to-5 job, it will all be for something bigger and more important than yourself one day. You will come home to a warm and happy home, greeted by people who care about you, and love you, and rely on you, and everything will make sense then. Until then, you'll just be on the internet, being called a misogynist, for wanting something bigger and more important than yourself, for wanting something beautiful and normal. And that is the average male fantasy. That and 3 hot chicks at once. Hell yeah, brother! Haha, you know what I'm saying? So that was that little video. Men in the comments, let me know. Am I correct? Is that the average male fantasy? Or is it not that deep? Men and women in the comments, what is your fantasy? And no, I don't mean that. I don't want to hear about how you want to be crushed by a 12-foot futa. That is between you and God, not you and Shoeonhead. I mean, what is your ultimate dream? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want a nice big family one day? Do you want to own a farm? Do you want to live in a shed in the woods and make pipe bombs? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you soon with a new video.
So, what is my fantasy? Okay, so, that was Shoeonhead and her nice little, video about the male fantasy. And I suppose she wants to know what my fantasy is. To not struggle with finances. To have a decent sized home. Be married to a lovely woman, perhaps. Where we fight often. And yet still love each other. Have maybe a kid or two. By the time I turn 60, 65, maybe, I could see them going off, making something of themselves, and try not to be as poor as I was once. That's the only thing I see. Is that the best thing about life is the fact that I want my family not to suffer as much as me. I'm doing better than my family has throughout their life, even slightly so. And I hope to see better in the future for a family that I've had. And yet, one day, I will no longer be here, and I want them to feel as if they were secured throughout their lives. No problems, no issues, but knew how to fix those problems if they ever came out. I think that would be a good fantasy to see. It's not going to be my reality, I know that much for sure. But it will be a fantasy of my own. Until then, I'll see you guys later. I hope you guys had some fun. Don't forget to follow me, like, comment, and subscribe. Because, after all, engagement means views, and views are an engagement. Bye!